and welcome back to Indulge with Sophie, where we're going to do an episode of Am I the Asshole? And as always, I am going to give you my honest opinion and tell you what I think and how it is. Anyway, moving onward. First, am I the asshole for asking my friend to pay for a TV her kid broke? Oh. I, 25 female, have a daughter who just turned 4 years old. I had a small party with some of her daycare friends for her 4th birthday. I also invited my best friend, 26 female, and her 5-year-old daughter to come. My friend and her daughter showed up about 30 minutes before the party was supposed to start, and she also brought her 14-month-old daughter. When they got here, her 5-year-old daughter and my daughter went into her room to play. Because she was there early, I wasn't finished making the cupcakes for the party, so I told her she was more than welcome to join me in the kitchen or watch TV in the living room and make herself at home. She chose to stay in the living room and watch TV with her 14-month-old. When I was in the kitchen, I heard a loud bang noise and I immediately ran into the living room. My friend's 14-month-old was standing in front of my TV, holding my friend's umbrella, and the TV was busted. My friend had went to the bathroom and left her 14-month-old unattended in the living room. I don't have an open floor plan and I can't see the living room from my kitchen, so I didn't see anything and I had no idea my friend had left her alone. My friend was very apologetic and offered to pay for the TV when it happened. After the party, when I showed her the receipt for the TV and we were discussing it further and more, she changed her mind because my TV was too expensive for her to replace. And she claimed I was taking the risk by inviting kids into my home. The TV was $1,300 and I had just bought it last month. It's been almost a week since the party and she is refusing to reply to any of my texts or phone calls. My fiance is on my side about wanting the money back, but another friend of ours told us we were being harsh and we should cut her some slack and that we should expect things to be broken when we invite kids in the house. I personally feel like she should have been responsible and not let her daughter leave her daughter unattended in my home. Am I the asshole? So, when it comes to a situation like that with your friend, it's you're kind of like on a seesaw, where if you lean too far this way, you're not going to be justifying yourself in your needs, and if you lean too far that way, you're just letting your friend get away with murder. And if that's your friend, then they should want to pay something towards your TV, like her baby broke it. Now, it's one thing if she can't afford it, and if she's like, look, I know this isn't the TV you have, I can replace it with this one, or can I at least give you what I can afford, or can I can find a place that can hopefully fix it. Or if she's like, if she were to try to find a way to get a solution that's comfortable for both of you, that's different. But if she's not even answering your phone calls or your texts, that is not your friend. And you don't invite people over assuming that things are going to get broken. I mean, you have child-friendly furniture, you're not going to have certain things out that are in reach, but everybody's got a damn TV in their living room. That's normal. What's not normal is leaving your baby unattended and not saying, hey girl, can you watch him real quick? I'm just going to the bathroom. Like, me and my friends, we've done that all the time. So no, you are not the asshole. Your friend is an asshole. And maybe you should just go break her TV. Okay, moving onward. Am I the asshole for telling a stranger it's weird you chose to sit next to me when there's so many other seats available on the public transit? So I took the transit today and the streetcar was totally open and available. It's really nice because there were about 30 different seats available and I was alone. I was sitting on the window seat and some random stranger just came up to me and sat next to me. I was thinking, why is this guy sitting next to me? There's like 30 available seats at the front and back and he sat next to me. So I said to him, why did you sit next to me? There's so many other seats everywhere on this streetcar, it's just a little strange. He said, well, do you own this seat? Is this your seat? I can sit wherever I want. You're being unreasonable here. I said, correct, I don't own this spot. I just don't understand why you chose to sit next to me when the entire streetcar is empty and you can sit anywhere you want in the streetcar. He responded the same thing, and I thought, okay, I don't want a conflict with a random stranger I don't even know. I ended up getting up and moving because the situation was perplexing to me. It's an unwritten rule that if there's an abundance of available seats, you sit alone. So am I the asshole in this situation? So, okay, that changes my thoughts. If you were a girl, it might sound wrong, especially to all the Gen Zers. If you were a girl, I would have been like, yeah, that's creepy. This guy just saw this girl sitting there and he sat next to her. But, I mean, regardless if you're a girl or guy, yeah, it is weird. There's a whole open thing, like who wants to sit next to a stranger? If you thought it was that strange and if you felt that uncomfortable to avoid any type of conflict or anything, you didn't even have to say anything. You could have just got up and moved to another seat. You don't know how mentally unstable someone is. The fact that they went and sat next to you when the whole thing is empty, like they're some kind of odd, you know? Like you said, there's an unwritten rule, unsaid rule that if it's open, you sit alone. So I don't necessarily think you're an asshole. I just think you were kind of stupid in your decision because it could have escalated to something completely unnecessary. So now you're not an asshole. You just need to just next time, go find another seat. Anyway, so moving onward. Am I the asshole for feeding my dog table scraps from a dinner my boyfriend made for us? No, I did it all the time for my Theodore and Archibald. Anyway, I, 24 female, have been dating Jay, 28 male, for 4 months. He is handsome, smart, funny, well-educated, has an awesome job, and he's a sweetheart. Sunday we had a whole day planned for us. We were going to walk on a nature trail and then go back to his place for dinner that he was making. Since we were hiking, he said I could bring my dog Shelby with us. He made us a roast and some vegetables for dinner. I finished my plate before Jay did and took it to the kitchen. There was still about half of the roast left, and it was close to Shelby's dinner time, so I took half of roast and some still raw vegetables from the fridge to put on a plate for Shelby, her dog. I was carrying the plate to the back door with Shelby to feed her outside, and Jay asked me what I was doing. I told him I'm feeding Shelby. Jay said something like, well, that's not dog food. Jay knows I mainly feed Shelby a raw diet. I opened the door and put the plate down for Shelby, and Jay got up, took the plate away from her, went to the kitchen and came back with it wrapped up in tinfoil and told me to leave. His excuse was that he made dinner for me and him, not me, him, and my dog, and that I should have asked before I helped myself since he would have used his leftovers. I did leave, but not before telling him that he made that meal for us so I could do with some of it as I pleased, as he knew damn well how I feed Shelby. I tried talking to my friend about it later that night, but she said Jay was right to be upset about it. But this friend never really approved of how I treat my own dog. So I feel like she was probably a bit biased and the wrong person to ask. Am I the asshole for feeding my dog like I normally would? So, you didn't have to explain how you cook your dog's meal. I give my dog pizza crust. Like, I really don't care. So, I think if maybe your boyfriend Jay comes from a life where maybe there wasn't enough food when he grew up, and maybe he has like a shortage mindset, you know, where he's concerned that like if there's food, it needs to be eaten, it needs to be saved. Like, you don't know what his history is unless if you do and you know that like that's how he grew up, then you probably should know. You might feel that way and you should just ask like, hey, I'm done eating this, I'm gonna give this to the dog. Anyway, on the other hand, if he knows like your dog gets fed very well, like that's a very well fed dog, and your dog's been out all day and you didn't bring anything, then he shouldn't really be surprised that you're about to feed your dog some scraps that are on your plate and then you just got some extra vegetables. I don't know, to be honest, like there's people dying. There's aliens in Miami right now, and you're really asking over a roast for your dog? I think he, like, I don't know, that's stupid. anyone that like dates someone that has an animal knows that that person probably loves that dog more than them. So he should have just been like, okay, let the dog eat it. Anyway, no, you're not the asshole. I think you should leave him. You and Shelby should leave him. Okay. One more. Am I the asshole for not turning down my Zoom in a coffee shop? Yes. Unless it's juicy, nobody wants to hear that. Today, I went to a coffee shop to get some work done. It was 90% empty. I turned on a Zoom meeting for work, but turned the volume down pretty low since I only sort of had to pay attention. Didn't have my headphones with me. My meeting was definitely no louder than a conversation would have been if there were a friend sitting there. An older lady walked in and sat next to me in the 90% empty cafe. She then leaned over and asked me to turn down my Zoom. She sounds like an old bitch. Now, from my perspective, a coffee shop is different than a restaurant or a library, where you expect a certain amount of quiet, so I politely declined. Oh, good for you. I thought that was the end of it, but after a few minutes of stewing on it, the lady leaned over and said, "You know I make this request of people all the time, and very few have a problem agreeing to it." So here's why I may have been the asshole. I raised my voice a little, not yelling, but not quiet, and told her that this is a coffee shop, not a library, and she doesn't get to expect or enforce quiet here, and that the whole rest of the cafe was open if she wanted to move. I think that if it was as empty as you say it was, and the volume was as low as it was, that old hag should have just minded her business and just sat somewhere else. And it doesn't matter if other people folded to her requests in the past. Not everyone's gonna do that. But it just goes to show that some old people just have this self-righteousness, you know, that younger people are just supposed to do what they say since they're older. But in this case, coffee shops are typically loud anyway. There are people talking, coffee being made, clicking, clacking, this and that. Like, you should expect to be some noise. So I don't think you're the asshole for telling her no. Sometimes somebody needs to hear no. Not me, but her, yeah. But anyway, thank you again for joining another episode of Indulge with Sophie. And again, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Please send me some of your Am I the Assholes? I'd love to hear something. And I can't wait to hear from you guys and meet with you next time on Indulge with Sophie. Bye.